Sagittarius. My name is Audrey Alison. Thank you for joining me for your November 2015 forecast for the month. I'm happy to be here on this sunny California day. And thank you for subscribing to my channel and for your support on my Facebook page, Audrey Alison, Astrology and Tarot. I'm going to get right to the forecast, but just to let you know, that is my music that you hear, my band, The Ethers, on the intro song. And I'm going to give a little shout out. I know that we're here for the astrology, and so am I, but we are on YouTube as well, Ethers Music, and our website is ethersmusic.com. Okay, so November is a very specific month because it's honing in on energy in two houses, and it's the 12th and the 11th house for you, Sagittarius. So basically, you're starting out on the 2nd of November with Mercury activating the subconscious mind. Mercury is going to shift into Scorpio. And when doing so, Scorpio is just before you on the astrological wheel. This activates the 12th house of rest and the subconscious mind, the house of addictions and the undoing and release and peace. Mercury in the 12th can stimulate dream life and REM sleep and dream recall. So it's best to keep your notepad by your bedside when that occurs. And I mentioned that in Capricorn as well because you both have the 12th house affected with certain transits this month. But I also want to say, the mind is made up of two parts. And the cerebrum, the top, and the cerebellum at the bottom is the fight between the ego, which is at the base, the cerebellum, and the cerebrum, God, the higher energy, the crown chakra, the following life on instinct. The 12th house is up here. This cerebellum in the base that rules Taurus and the throat. This area gets involved with reason and logic and gets in the way. So when I say the 12th house, I'm talking here, the crown chakra. You allow your subconscious mind to lead you through rest, Sagittarius, because you're preparing for your solar return. And your birthday is in a few weeks. Happy early birthday. So you need recuperative rest during this phase because you're gaining a lot of information from the full solar year, and life lessons are stored very strongly in the last 4 to 6 weeks prior to the birthday. So take Mercury's advice, the planet of communication, and listen to some messages that you're getting in your dream life because these are important for you. On the 8th of November, Venus, the planet of balance, beauty, harmony, love, money, enters Libra. This is activating the 11th house of friendships and goals and social clubs, groups, organizations, affiliations. When Venus enters Libra, it triggers the cardinal activity, the cardinal signs. Uranus is stationed in Aries, cardinal sign. Uranus is the planet of surprise and electric insight, so this creates a trine between Libra and Aries. Venus will be in this 11th house in Libra through the 4th of December. So you have some time with her smoothing over this sector. I'm hearing some things already for you, Sag, and I'll get to them in a minute. But there's a lot of surprise happening when it comes to friendships and connections. You could be led to some new influences is what I'm hearing, new connections. It doesn't always have to be connections from the past. It's new influence, and Uranus is there trining Venus to make this feel very sudden, like running into someone, and then having this connection, having similar goals in the 11th house, sharing the same wishes of what you want to achieve. And you could find yourself being led to the right group or club at this time as well, which surrounds you around these like-minded individuals. Uranus is very individualistic and rebellious, but you would find yourself in a group of people who matched that energy. On the 11th of November, 11/11, our new moon is at 19 degrees of Scorpio in this 12th house of release. So for those of you actually wanting to get rid of any habits, bad habits, addictions, the 12th house of addictions, this new moon trines Chiron, the wounded healer, the asteroid, in Pisces at 19 degrees in your 4th house of environment, the 4th house of foundation and where you come from. Say you're a smoker. You know, you weren't born smoking. I don't think there's ever been a baby that was born with a cigarette in his mouth. So this new moon in the 12th of release and habit and addiction, trining Chiron in the 4th house of foundation where you come from, this could be a very successful new moon to start a new habit, to replace a bad habit with a good one. It could also, if you don't have any vices, it could apply to literal rest and using this new moon to restore peace and recuperative rest in the body. Some of you might be traveling to the home that you were familiar with, that you were born near, returning to the mother, the 4th house of the maternal. On the 11th of November, Mars enters Libra in your 11th house. I'm sorry if you hear somebody using a weed whacker or whatever the hell's going on over there. I'll see how annoying it gets. Mars enters Libra on the 12th in your 11th house. So it's the 12th house, 11th house, 12th, 11th. When Mars is there, he's conjunct Venus. Mars and Venus together around the wheel. It's been happening. Very social, okay? Mars is stimulation and energy. In the 11th house, you want to be social, Sag. You're connecting with people. You're meeting both male and female energies because Mars is male, Venus is female. Mars is in Libra through the 3rd of January, 2016. He transits a little more slowly than Venus and Mercury do, so you have some time with him stimulating the social sector. On the 20th, Mercury enters Sagittarius in your 1st house. So Mercury is in your sign, making that communication stronger, study, intellect, expression, thoughts. Mercury was only in that 12th house for 18 days, and now he's with you through the 9th of December. Really communicating, really getting your message across. And 2 days later, on the 22nd, the sun follows suit. The sun enters Sagittarius. Happy solar return. Happy birthday. So, Mercury conjunct the sun in the 1st house. Very social, very, very much wanting to participate. Perfect for the holidays. On the 25th, we have our full moon at 3 degrees of Gemini. Gemini full moon usually occurs in December, so this is a little early for that. But this is in your 7th house, Gemini being your polar opposite sign. 7th house of partnership and relationship and marriage. This trines Venus and Mars in Libra. I think this guy is going to just go off in a minute, so I might have to pause the video. I'm sorry to do that because I really like staying in the flow. But it's obnoxious and I don't want to put my viewers through that, so I will just be back shortly. Sorry about that. Hi, I'm back. I'm sorry about that. Okay, so I was talking about the full moon in Gemini at 3 degrees on the 25th of November in your 7th house of partnerships, business partnerships, marriage, soulmate energy. Gemini is the soulmate energy for Sagittarius. This full moon could bring an ending, could see you have an awareness in the 7th house. Something that needs to be seen in the marriage. But it's trining Venus and Mars in the sign of Libra, another air sign like Gemini. The trine is smoothing over this awareness, I want to call it. In between the 7th and the 11th house of connections, social connections, your goal, your wish, and your partnership. So you'll be seeing something towards the holiday in this sector, and it can apply very differently to everyone. If you'd like a personal reading, that will be very specific to you. But by the end of this month, both Neptune and Chiron are direct in Pisces. Chiron direct in Pisces is a great thing, the wounded healer, the asteroid. Neptune direct in Pisces, in your 4th house of home, is some nebulous energy in the environment sector, in the foundation sector. Because Neptune is delusion and rose-colored glasses, and Neptune is a heavy drinker. So we'll see how that can apply to the environment sector for you. I want to get to the cards. I'm using the Tarot of the Witches. I thought that was appropriate because it's almost Halloween. This is by Fergus Hall with the Emperor on the back. This deck has been in my life for quite some time. But I'm also being interviewed on the 28th of October by Joanna DeVoe on YouTube, putting the K back in magic. So I thought, let's just stick to the theme of the month, Tarot of the Witches. Simple crisscross design on the back. Fergus Hall is the illustrator. And also, if you'd like to read with me, I'm at audreyalison.com, and you would select on the appointment request page your desired reading length via the PayPal button and fill out the little form on that page with your name and email, and I will get back to you in a few days to book with you. Okay, Sag, let's see. Sorry for the interruptions. I still hear that guy out there, but he's not as crazy as he was a second ago. Let's see what your cards for November have to say. Sagittarius. And the illustrations on these cards are very cool. They're very cartoon-like. Oh, the star. Look at this guy. The star. This is recognition. The star is a sign of Aquarius in the Tarot, which is not activated for you, but recognition, career, 10th house. Let's see what else comes up. Promotion as well. Being seen, recognition. Okay. Well, this is all about the 12th house of release and addiction. The devil. Vice. What you are bound to. What you are enslaved to. Wow, these cards are just... Look at his makeup. Super. What you are restricted by. The devil is the sign of Capricorn, ruled by Saturn. This is why they call Saturn Satan, because it's the same thing, the planet. It's restriction and vice and what you're bound to and what you are enslaved to. And we talked about that before that card came up in the 12th house of where your new moon is and releasing addictions, because Chiron will be trining that sector for you. The High Priestess. This is me. The High Priestess. Look at that. She has her cat by her foot, and she's got the moon at her cerebrum. She is living in the instinctual. She's not allowing the cerebellum to get in the way. Psychic energy. You've got 3 major arcana cards too. I just noticed that. Let's see what else comes up. Okay, 3 of Swords. Some heartache, some sorrow, some pain and loss, some suffering in the relationship sector. So we'll see. Maybe that full moon applied to you. The King of Cups. Look at this guy. I love these cards. King of Cups is usually the water sign energy, Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer, but the King of Cups is also self-fulfillment and finding answers within and using your own psychic guidance, especially if you're a male. Wheel of Fortune. Look at that. Look at the rainbows. Another major arcana card. Fate, transformation, change. What comes up must come down. 3 of Fire, 3 of Wands, 3 of Batons, 3 of Staffs, whatever you prefer. They're all different lingos with these cards, but I like using different cards because it keeps my knowledge fresh of what the meanings are and not just getting used to the pictures. The 3 of Fire, 3 Wands, you could be traveling. Boat could be going across the water with this card. Foreign travel and adventure. And the Knight of Batons, definitely travel and relocation even. You could be moving, Sagittarius. The fourth house of home is affected now. And the Knight always brings movement and change with him, the Knight of Fire. So you've got a lot of cards, and I use all of the cards in the last pile that I drop. So we're starting with the star, success. Having success with releasing your addictions and your habits and the things that keep you bound actually opens up the subconscious mind. Pay attention to your dreams in the 12th house. The High Priestess is there. And maybe it hurts your heart to have to let these things go, to have to release these things that no longer serve you, and maybe there are 3 of them. But the Wheel of Fortune is saying, listen, this is your time for success, for the wheel to be turning, to make some change. And the King of Cups is saying, you already know what this is. You already know. This isn't a surprise, because you're being already guided to release this pattern. And with this pattern and release might come a change for you, a move, a literal physical relocation, whether that's long distance travel or a move. Because now that Neptune is direct and Chiron in the sign of Pisces in your 4th house of environment, you might be desiring to get a clearer picture of your surroundings, but elsewhere. I hope this was helpful to you, Sagittarius. You had a lot of major arcana energy, and I really love the designs on these cards. Thanks for joining me. And remember, the sky is limitless, so reach for the stars.